Hello, welcome everyone to another episode of the Virtual Ninja Show. Today we're going to talk about GitHub and how you can contribute, what you can get out of it, and all the good things. And I have two experts with me. I have Ijaz and Daniel. So first, Ijaz, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. So I'm a product manager of Microsoft Defender for Office 365 team. I mainly work on the threat investigation and hunting canvases, mainly the threat explorer, advanced hunting, email entity page, and lots of summary panels that we have.
Hi, everybody. My name is Daniel. I'm working also as a product manager on Defender for Office 365. And my focus is customer experience.
Thank you. And even though you both are from the Office 365 Defender team, we are talking GitHub all up, right? So we'll have, of course, lots of great examples from the Office world. But for everyone out there, this is not just focusing on Office. You can use GitHub for all the other Defender products and queries and all these things as well. So, Daniel, I know you reached out to me and say, hey, we want to do this episode. Tell me why.
Yeah, thanks, Sergey. It's simple. Microsoft Sentinel has an area for advanced hunting. This is to help threat hunters to jumpstart their investigations. And our research team is publishing a lot of queries in this area, and everybody with Microsoft Sentinel can use it. What's also there, if you are a Defender XDR customer, you can use these query examples as well. And the reason I reached out because we team up with Ijaz a couple of months ago, and we looked at this repository on GitHub, and I realized there is not much Defender for Office email and collaboration examples out there. So we went around our team, our friends at research, collected quite a lot of queries, and contributed to get a strong start for threat hunters for email and collaboration threat scenarios as well. And I thought it's a good idea to share this more publicly so people are aware where it is, how it look like, and how can you contribute, because this is a community effort, so everybody can contribute.
I was just about to ask. So, I mean, GitHub, there is a lot on GitHub, but there is that Defender, Sentinel, XDR community where there is specific queries already and other tools and things. So someone need to become a member of the community to leverage this, or can you go anonymous and then still use it? And then only when you contribute, you need to sign up. And a little bit of background, please.
So anyone with a GitHub account, they can directly go to the GitHub community and they can contribute it. So the bare minimum requirement is you need to have a GitHub account. We have two different repositories, one for the Defender XDR and one for Sentinel. Any query which is being pushed into the repository, we have a mechanism to then run the script and enable it on the user experiences. So if you want to contribute to the community, what you need to do is sign up with your GitHub account, open the GitHub community, basically the GitHub repository, and you can create a new file, a new query, which we are going to show a demo of how you can do it.
So adding to your Ijaz, there's also a possibility to consume these queries without any GitHub account. They are, as you just mentioned, natively integrated in the Defender XDR portal. In advanced hunting, you can see these queries, and it's not just Defender for Office, it's Defender for Endpoint Identity. There is a lot of queries examples available. So simply in the Defender XDR portal, you can access to these queries and use it directly in the tool where you do your hunting. Also, the GitHub repository is publicly available. So even without the GitHub account, you can go there, see the queries, and get inspiration from them.
And the beauty is it's a community, and the more active member that we have, the more everybody gets out there, right? So out of it. So I hope that after this episode, people also feel motivated to share their queries, because they might be easy for you, but other people, might search for exactly something like that. So now let's get into the weeds here.
So let me show you how can you access these community queries directly in the Defender XDR portal. It's very simple. You go to security.microsoft.com to the advanced hunting tool. It's the same tool you use for threat hunting across all Defenders. And there is an area in advanced hunting called queries, where you can access this community query repository all up. So this is where everything is there, from Defender for Endpoint, Cloud Apps, identity queries, answers, mainly from our research colleagues, internal threat hunters, but also we contributing from group point of view regularly to this repository. If you want to use any of these queries for Defender for Office, we group them together under email queries in the community and structured around specific topics for email and collaboration security. Today, I counted around 97 query example we have. Majority is submitted by Ijaz and myself, but we start seeing contribution from others, which is make us happy. And this is exactly what we want.
Awesome.
So everybody can benefit from the shared knowledge. It's very simple to consume. For example, I can show you an example, which is, a couple of customers using and found it useful. This one is help you to hunt URL IOCs in emails when it's coming for Defender for Office. So you select the query example, either double click on it or use the context menu to run the query, and this is loads. So you see the source is from GitHub, but this is so simple to get the advanced hunting query, and it immediately runs and checking your environment. Do you have any match? This one is looking for a list of IOCs in a public location. And if there is a match, then it will give you a hunting query result.
Wow.
So yeah, you feel free to go around. There's countless example for here from how to hunt on QR code phishing. That was a story last year. Checking on URL clicks. There is many queries there. Just general in the hunting or just tracking SOC team members' activity. There is also queries provided by others. For example, this one is provided one of our customer SOC analysts who is we are engaged with. This is looking for anybody creating a tenant a low block entry in Defender for Office 365, because this can be disruptive if it's misused. So yeah, this is how you use them. Not sure, do you have any question? Maybe this is the first time you see this area. There is a lot of value here.
Yeah, it's amazing, especially that it is so rich already with content. So when someone submits something to GitHub, it will be checked, validated, and then approved, and then it will only land in the portal. And I assume because it is a query not doing something else, there's no harm that it can do to the environment.
Exactly like that. Of course, there is a process and guide rails around. After you submit your contribution to GitHub, there is a process to validate, not just from formatting point of view, but also this is a secure query. And when your request is approved, your pull request is approved, then it became part of the GitHub repository. And our engineering team on the Defender for Office side or other Defender side can pull that community queries periodically. We do it time to time, and we see there is enough contribution done, then we just automatically pull it in, everything which is new, and make it available worldwide to every customer directly in the portal.
Okay. It's not instant. There is a process behind it. Okay, cool.
Exactly. It's instant on GitHub, but there is a process behind to come into Defender portal. I also thought about, I show you another example. This is also, I think, interesting. This is from a recent kind of attack. Our researchers blogged about it a couple of months ago. This is how you can use on the threat actor side, file URL format to try to trick users to click on potentially malicious messages, which may go through filters. You can use this query to see if there are hits, is there an email message in this environment, using this URL format, and what happened to this email message when it's coming to there.
What is all of this? Where URL matches regex file / blah something? What is all this weird?
Exactly. This is looking for a specific pattern of URL format, which was used in some campaigns, which is using the file URL format and looking for IP addresses in the URL format.
How do you know this, to write this in this weird way?
That's one of the motivation why we start contributing to this community. So a lot of time what happens is when we interact with customers, the SOC analyst, what we get to know is that KQL has a very steep learning curve, and it takes a lot of time for a SOC analyst to get familiarized with the schema, different data types, how do they write the different condition like the regex condition that you see on the screen. And the amount of time that it takes for someone to learn all of these things, it's very huge, and there are very limited resources in terms of how they can use specific data and data types. So that's where Daniel and we started interacting, like how we can make this easier for the customers, and this is like one of the great examples. So attackers, when they are attacking, they use different tactics, and it's an ever evolving space. So for us from Microsoft side, this is one of the ways through which we can communicate to the customer, like what are the latest attacker tactics and how they can identify it. So that is where we started contributing to this community, and this is one of the example that Daniel showed, that this particular URL type and how they can hunt for it.
Yeah. So, but how does someone? I mean, I know you have a lot of contacts with customers, but someone who is not in your direct line and learn about all the new things that we are adding. Is there something in GitHub that is like these queries are new or something? Or like, because I can't, every day check if an amazing new query just showed up and go through all the different nodes. Do we have something, a mechanism to inform people about new things?
Not really, Heike, today.
No.
Not really in product, but we usually, what we do with the jobs on our side, when we have updates, we are using our public channels for Defender for Office product group. So we announcing updates on this area when there is like significant updates. Like for example, we are planning a big batch of examples for Teams message hunting scenarios, because this is something we are investing right now, and we will communicate publicly through our channels. There's a bunch of new query available for consumption.
So, I mean, this is awesome. And there's like so many possible ways that maybe a customer also wants to customize it to themselves. Can they do this and then also maybe take action on it?
Yes, 100%. So let me show you how you do it. So you can take out these query examples after you run it and you say, I want to build on this. I want to morph it to my team or my organization or my hunting use case scenario. Absolutely possible. They are extendable. So for example, here I take that query we did and I joined with another data set in Defender for Office to get information about the email details. But what you can also do after you customize your query, not just to run and get the result, you can actually save it to run automatically. So in Defender XDR, there's something called detection rules, and you can create your own custom detection. In nutshell, you can save this query to automatically run in Defender for XDR, scheduled, let's say, every hour. And if there is a match, it will automatically generate an incident to the security team incident queue. So for example, if there's a campaign going on using this technique, and you see that it's hitting users and delivered to inbox, you can have an automatic detection on it. So the team is notified.
Fast response.
Exactly. And there's a very powerful capability here. I will just walk you through how you can create something like this. So this will run then continuously and generate a high severity incident. We'll say this is initial access and some description. You can also take actions automatically. So advanced hunting custom detection rules has this capability to let you, if your query matching, take actions automatically. And this is where this became very powerful response tool as well, because if the query hit, not just with generating an incident, you can extend it to take automatic action like soft deleting the email. So if the user get it to their inbox, the experience will be it's automatically get deleted with your automation. So we start seeing customers using this capability as well.
Wow.
Because it's helped them to do custom detection on top of what the system provides.
Okay, so this is awesome. And I know that, of course, we can contribute as Microsoft, but how can I, as an individual, now start sharing my queries?
Great. So first of all, it's a very simple process. It hardly takes like 4 to 5 minutes for you to add a new query to the GitHub community. And for that, what you need to do is you need to sign into the GitHub with your GitHub account and open this community. We'll be sharing the links with you. And once you open the community, you have to navigate to this section, email queries. Under the email queries, you will see all of the folders where you can contribute. You can also create new folders, but just for this demo, I'll pick up any one of the folder, say general, and say I want to contribute a new query to it. One thing, if you notice that all of these queries are in this YAML format, YAML.YAML. So this is the format that we consume to read the content from this file and surface the query into the user experiences. This is mainly for how we process the query in the backend. And the actual content which will be available to the user is this part, the query part.
But you have a lot of other stuff there.
Yes, let's go through the content. So I'm just taking a simple example. I want to see a query based on a particular IP and geo information. So the content that you see in this YAML file are mainly, first is the ID, identifier of this query, which is a GUID. So if you are creating a new query, you need to get a new GUID. You can look for it in the web, a random GUID generator, which will generate identifier, or you can manually generate different GUID and add it over here. This needs to be unique for each query, so we are able to differentiate between different queries. Second is the name of the query. This is the data that you will be seeing in the screens that Daniel shared with you. The side panel, the community query section, and the name of the query. This is the name that you can define over here that you want to see when we pull the query into advanced hunting. Then next to the description of the query and details about the description. These are also the things that you can see in the user experience. Then there are a couple of more fields like this connector ID and data types. So connector ID for Microsoft Defender, it needs to be Microsoft Threat Protection. There are other connector IDs as well. There's a guideline document that is there in the blog that we have. You can also access it from the README file in the community. You will find all of the details about the different connector IDs and how you can pick the one which suits you. Data types is mainly the tables on top of which you are writing the query. So email events is one of the table from Defender for Office 365. There are tables like cloud app events. There are tables like alert events, alert info. So if you are writing a query and if you are using a table, the name of the table needs to go into the data types. Then
There can
tactic,
be more though, right? So you can
yes,
have more. Okay.
absolutely. There can be more than one table in this.
And Heike, fear not. The strategy works very well if you just take an existing query, which is similar to your ID, copy the file, change the GUID, change what you need to change to query section, and submit that way. That's the simplest way to do. On top of it's very well documented on post on a GitHub on our blog. What this structure means. These are metadata required to render well these queries in the proper places in the experiences.
So, and then at some point, it just there needs to be the query itself.
Yes. So after tactics, you need to define the query. It's a relevant technique. This is optional fee. It's not mandatory.
This is the mitral technique.
Yes. Tactics are the MITRE tactics, which you can define from the existing list of MITRE tactics. This doesn't actually impact the query. It's just an FYI field. If someone is using this query and if they are navigating through the GitHub, this particular part, then they can get more details about this query. But this information will not be available in the advanced hunting experience. So coming to the actual query, if you look at this file, it is in a specific format, in a specific indentation, and this needs to be perfectly aligned when you are submitting the query. And this is where the YAML format comes into picture. And this is where the query needs to be defined in a specific indentation and in a specific format. There should not be any issues with the query or any issues with the formatting. One thing that I usually do is I pick the query, I run it in advanced hunting, see if there are any errors or not, if I'm getting the right data, then go and add the query into this file and then submit it.
Okay. And do feel people a little bit overwhelmed with putting this in a different format here and filling out all this stuff? What is mandatory? I would assume the ID, the name, the description details.
Yes. So ID is mandatory, name, description detail. Then these fields till tactics, these are mandatory.
Okay.
And then the actual query.
Yeah, it sounds scary in beginning. I started as a rookie contributing to this, but after the first, I don't know, 2-3 submission to GitHub, it became very easy. You have your template file or an old query you're starting from, and you can just copy paste. You have your GUID generator, give you a new GUID. It's really like a couple of minutes. I usually just use that template file I save myself and just edit the query section, and that's it. And off it goes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Coming to the original question, how do I actually go and add a new file or add a new query into the GitHub? So if you are very comfortable with the Visual Studio Code, like my friend Daniel here is, is super comfortable with it, then what you need to do is go to Visual Studio Code and import the entire GitHub community into your Visual Studio Code. Then you can edit a file over here, create a new file. If you are very comfortable with the git push pull commands, then you can do it. But if you're someone like me who is not very comfortable with it, the simplest possible way is you can edit the query in the notepad if you are not comfortable with the Visual Studio Code. This is the template that I have that I usually use. What you need to do is just make changes to these fields like I have done. You can change the ID, name, and relevant detail as per the query that you have, and then just make sure that the details are in the required format of the indentation for a YAML file. Then all you need to do is copy paste the query, go to the community, say I want to add the query into this general folder. I'll add a new file, write on add file, create new file. Say for this one, I'll just name it a test query .yaml, and I'll just copy paste the content over here. And if you notice, the indentation that we had in the notepad, it will be retained in this window as well.
Perfect.
Once you do that, all you need to do is just hit commit. You can add some notes for the commit and then propose changes.
And then also, I think I would like to remind everyone if they don't know exactly where to put the query because they're unsure if it goes to phishing or something else. Should they put it in general for now, and then you will decide in the end when you validate the query to where to move it to?
Yeah, I think it's a good recommendation. If you're unsure which folder you would create your query, just put it in general. We contribute as well. If you see something a little bit out of place, we might move it or update the text as part of the review or after the review. When I contribute something, I sometimes like help people to a little bit beautify and put it in the right place,
Yeah.
so people easier when it's coming to find.
This is cool.
So up until now, what we have done is we have added the file to the GitHub. But the next thing that user needs to do is they need to create a pull request. So pull request will basically merge this particular file into the actual master repository. And from there, once the merge is completed, anyone can see it in the public view. So far, this is only limited to me because it has been done through my user account. Once I create a pull request, I add the details which are needed over here. Make sure you are updating the details like changes, what is the reason why you have added this particular file, then few more things, following the guidelines which are present in here, and you can just create a pull request.
And this is where the automation starts. When you created your pull request, there's automatic checks, the format is right, the query is valid. So that's running automatically. And then there's an approval team on our side who will decide can be to the original repository or not. And when this is finished, you get notification. After that, it's live. And yeah, as you just mentioned, our engineering teams time to time pulling these contributions to Defender XDR Advanced Hunting.
Okay, so just submitting it is not enough. You need to also hit the pull request button. And only
Yes.
then, okay, got it.
Yeah.
And then you can go back and make changes as the owner of the query? Because
Absolutely.
sometimes tables might change or something.
Yes, absolutely. So even within this process of approval, you can go to the commit section, you can check your file, and even within this process, you can go ahead and edit this file as well. You can hit the edit button over here and you can make the changes.
This is cool.
Yes. And the other thing, if you have already made a submission and now you want to make some changes to the query, you can navigate to your query and then make the changes.
So I know that we have one community for Seaman XDR, Sentinel and Defender XDR, but there are two repositories. Where will the query show up? In the Sentinel Azure portal or in the Defender portal? Or what do I need to do to get them to both places? I want to get my
It's a
query
very
amplified everywhere.
It's a very simple process. Today it's actually one repository. It's just two separate folder structure. You can check your query into the Sentinel area as well. It's the same GitHub repository, just a different folder structure. It's called Defender XDR Solution, has a hunting query folder. If you check your file there too, then it's showing up in the Sentinel hunting area as well. And as you mentioned, Heike, the integration between Sentinel, Defender, XDR portal means it's automatically showing up in the Azure portal, Sentinel hunting area, and also if you are using the unified experience with Sentinel, Defender, XDR portal together, then it will showing out in the Sentinel area of the Defender XDR portal too. So you can have it not just in advanced hunting, but you can have it in Sentinel as well. So we do this homework with the JAWS regularly. When we're checking in files, we do this kindness to check into both places until the team can merge this to be one folder structure.
This is awesome. Cool. Thank you.
This repository that you see, Azure Sentinel hunting queries, this is the one which is used by advanced hunting. And we have one more repository, Azure Sentinel. There's a different folder structure under the solution section, Defender, XDR, hunting, and email queries. This is the one used by Sentinel. We make sure that these are exact same. And if you are making a new contribution, we also encourage users to add new files into the both repositories. So both of them are aligned.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, it's simple as this. It's just one file putting into two locations.
Yeah, that's cool. But good to know, because you might wonder where it is. I hope this is also clearly articulated in the notes or in the welcome section. Good. Anything else that you would like to tell people or show us?
So I just want to mention again, we're looking for everybody to contribute. This is an open community. We welcome anybody. If you see any query help you in your work as a SOC analyst, please do this extra little effort to share with the community so everybody can benefit. Ijaz and myself will keep contributing to this. So this is an ongoing project. We have plans to keep this update. Please join us and contribute yourself too.
Yes. And should we also ask if they have ideas for queries that would help them?
Yes, absolutely. If you have any idea that you think is beneficial for other, that you're not sure of how to write a query on, then definitely share with us through the support channels that you have or through other channels that you can reach the product group. And we'll definitely help you out on how you can write a query, or we'll write a query on behalf of you that will be beneficial to all of the users.
Awesome. Thank you both so much for bringing this topic and the content to the Ninja Show. Thank you, Ijaz, and thank you, Daniel. And I hope everyone out there who can write queries will now go ahead, submit queries, contribute to the community. Everyone else might want to check it out and see what is there and if they can also contribute in the future. And until then, talk soon. Bye.